Record. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Pit Life Barbecue Podcast, a podcast where we talk everything barbecue and a lot of other topics that you normally talk around the pit. Coming to you live from the Uncle Steve Shake Studios in Center Bonstead, New Hampshire. Well, guys, as we know, it's December, so the coming to you live, y'all know that's bullshit. I'm still, when you guys are watching this, I'm still working, delivering packages on the Christmas rush. But, we always do, I record these for December on Sunday. But I appreciate each and every one of you still tuning in 8 o'clock Monday nights. I love yous. Couldn't do this without yous. So without any further ado, today's episode brought to you by Uncle Steve Shake. I'll say it again. Incredible. Incredible products and a more incredible man. Uncle Steve has 17 amazing flavors, from the new Mi Amigo, the Magic Ribs, the competition line, to the original, the spicier, the Gator Shake. He's got it all. He wears all the hats. So if you place your order, he's receiving the email. He's answering the email. Phone call, he's answering the phone. He's mixing the shakes. He's bottling it. He's shipping. He does it all. Always fresh. If you place an order today, your order is getting bottled sometime this week. So it's right to the shipping. It's not sitting there on the shelf for a while. Freshest ingredients. Unbelievable. Check him out at UncleSteveShake.com, and also on Facebook, follow him at Uncle Steve Shake Nation. Uncle Steve Shake, shake some on everything. Also brought to you by Joe's Meat Market, the diamond of Royce City, Texas. Gabriel and his crew, man, they do an incredible job. Wonderful people. The meat selection, out of this world. If you need a specific cut in daily, and for all us competition cooks and backyarders, got us covered there too, between the meat, the produce, rubs, sauces, injections, marinades, now carrying smoky wood products, whether it's splits, chunks, chips, Gabriel's got it. And if you're there and you're feeling a little hungry, he got you covered on that aspect too. Gabriel's mom's right behind the counter, whipping up some of the freshest Mexican cuisine you've ever had in your life. Sit down, talk to the boys. There's always people milling around. It's like the old style barber shop. You know what I'm saying? Sit down, shoot the shit. Let the worries of the world stay outside. Just talk what we love. Talk Q. Meet a new friend and let it go from there. But yeah, guys, Royce City, Texas, check them out. And remember, Joe's Meat Market for the win. All right, guys and gals. Like I said, there ain't no chat. You know I love you. Dutch, Bat, Tom, Salinas Brothers, Big Rome, Mad Max, call you out. Gabriel, Uncle Steve. The list goes on and on. I know you're there. I know you're going to be tuning in, and I appreciate you. But, guys, I am pumped today. We gonna have a hell of a story. I can't wait to hear the whole one. Hood Drip Sauce. David reached out to me a couple weeks back and was gracious enough to send me some sauces. And you all know how I am, guys. I love everything that's different. I'm all about it, surprise me, shock me. And he did it with his mango habanero, which is his OG original, and then the Fuego melon. That's all I'm going to say at this point on that one. But we'll get into that. But damn. But guys, please welcome the owner of Hood Drip Sauce, Mr. David Walker. David, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's up, Johnny? I really appreciate you having me on today. And I saw Steve, that's why I said Steve. But I appreciate you having me on to just tell my story and let people know about my brand. It's been a real fun ride here. I've been doing this for about 4 years, so I'm really
Yeah.
excited for this phase of it, where I'm really gonna grow some with adding some new brands and some new stuff that we have coming down the line. So I appreciate you having me on. I look forward to telling you my story, man.
Oh, my pleasure, brother. And like I had told you earlier, the word on these sauces need to get out there. So I'm gonna do whatever I can. I already know my Texas barbecue chapter boys are
Oh
all
yeah,
about it. I was literally before we went on, I was telling you that I got the sauces in. So first of all, thank you so much. Very
oh you're
gracious of
welcome.
you. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it. But I had the sauces, I don't know, 3 or 4 days, and then I got a text from our boy Big Rome,
Big Rome,
and he's
yeah,
like, "Yo, Mags, you got to check these out." And I took a picture, sent him. I go, "Dude, I'm already on it."
yeah,
He
yeah.
go, "Damn, you're fast."
Rome's a good guy, man. I really appreciate all his help and support, man. He's been a big help to me. Mad
Oh,
Max, all the guys,
absolutely.
Joe's Meat Market, Papa Joe, man, much respect to
Yep,
them, man. They just kind of opened up their arms to me and just welcomed me in and have really helped me out, man. And I'm excited for what's coming down the pipe with everything, man.
yep. And actually, speaking of Papa Joe, real quick, happy
It's birthday,
birthday, brother.
happy birthday,
Happy
yeah, happy
birthday.
birthday, Papa Joe.
Nice. Absolutely, absolutely. And I still got to work on the time to get him on. We were
Hey,
trying a few months, and the schedules just would not jive. So
I
we
tell
gotta,
you what, man, you won't find a nicer guy. Him and his wife,
yeah,
they do a great job down there. They just had their 1 year anniversary, and we
yeah,
went by and just showed some support, and we really appreciate him and his wife for what they're doing.
absolutely, absolutely. But David, tell us all about you. Who you are, where you came from originally, because originally you're not from Texas originally.
Right, that's right. I'm a transplant, man. I know there's a bunch of transplants around the country. Just I was sitting down one day and was, you always get homesick from not being around family and familiar places and friends. And just over the years, I've really just become a Texan. But at my core, I grew up in the DMV, which is DC, Maryland, and Virginia. If you're not familiar with that, specifically Prince George's County, more specifically Clinton, Maryland. So grew up in the 20735. Proud of where I'm from, loving where I'm at, and it's just part of my journey from Maryland to Mississippi to Louisiana, and now to Texas. Throughout that time, man, some things that I love about home. We have what's called mumbo sauce, right? Or like a mild sauce from what Chicago is familiar with. But
Okay.
that's kind of was my thing. I go home, I get off the plane, I go get me some chicken wings and mumbo sauce and some fries or fried rice or whatever from the carryout. And I enjoy that because that's just a big part of my life from the time when I was a little kid to now. I still do it. I was back last week, and that was one of the first things that I did. And it's just one of those things. Like uh, some of the things that are really important to me, like my childhood. You know,
Hmm.
I was around my family a lot. And they kind of my uncles, my dad, my grandfather. They really help raise and have a lot of big ups to them because that's part of who I am today. And at an early age, my grandfather uh, he had auto parts stores in DC. He had the government contract for auto parts in the DC in the District of Columbia from the late '70s all the way through the mid '90s. And
Oh,
one of
cool.
his things, he had a big family. One of his things was he kept us close to him, all his grandkids, all of his sons. That was part of his business, and he used to tell us, I'm going to keep you out of trouble by putting you right in the middle of it. And where he was in DC in that little corner, everybody knew who he was. No one ever messed with us, and he always taught us lessons by showing the value of hard work and dedication and just being a real good stand up person. And I owe a lot to him, my dad, and my uncles. One of the things that they did like I said, at an early age, they taught me about food indirectly. Because one of the things that I did, I was a gopher, man. I would go get food. They send me up to the carry out, and this is in late '80s in DC. That was a dangerous place.
Yeah.
But everybody knew I was Big Will's grandson, so they didn't bother me. And they would send me up to go get food and go to all the carryouts in the market, and they all knew I was Big Will's grandson, so they knew what I wanted. They knew all my uncles, and I started to find out about this sticky, sweet, spicy sauce at an early age, and I really grew to love it. And the thing about it is, like, every carry out in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, uh, none of the sauces are going to be the same. They've all
Yeah.
got their own version of it. Some of it's orange, some of it's red. The true mumbo sauce fanatics in DC will tell you it's orange. But for me, I just wanted to make a version of it. Circling back to why I started Hood Drip, I was just sitting at home one day, homesick. It wasn't during football season, so I couldn't watch my Commanders play, Redskins back in the day.
Yeah.
And I just started. I said I'm gonna make my own version of it, just to kind of put it on some chicken wings. Because at that time, no one was bottling it. They've got some companies now in the DC, Maryland area that you can purchase and they'll ship it. But during that time, there's no one that I could find that I could get my own. So I decided to just whip up something and see what came up. And so it eventually evolved to uh, a similar version to what I'm doing right now. And I had some friends over. It's really cool because everything about this brand is about sharing. It's about with friends and with family. But I had some friends over, and they had some of my what was just sauce at that time. Wasn't Didn't put a name to it, and came back the next day. Hey man, you got any more of that sauce? And I had some left in the refrigerator, and I gave him like a little mason jar or whatever I had lying around, and
Yeah.
he went and he shared it with somebody, and so he said, "Hey, I need about 4 more bottles. You think you can make that for me?" And so fast forward a year later, I'm making 100 mason jars, at a time, just getting it to friends and family and
Yeah.
coworkers, and so I just decided I've got a thing here. So I really started to work on, at that point I didn't really have a recipe. I just kind of mixing some stuff together, didn't really
Hmm.
have a concept, and I decided to really put a good recipe together. And then I took some time to develop that recipe where I was trying to make it taste exactly the same way over about 15 or 20 different times. I forget what the number was, but I got it to where I could control it and get the flavors out of it that I wanted to. And then eventually ended up adding some fruit to it, right? So I think my first one was mango, and I started adding all different kinds of fruit and flavor combinations and pepper combinations. But over about a 2 year period, I really got down to some things that I wanted to have in it, and then some things that I didn't want to have in it. Like I'm not a big fan of like carryouts back home. That you're gonna get the most unhealthy, sometimes heavy corn syrup, a bunch of dyes and artificial flavors. But that's
Hmm.
the recipe, and it's great. But for me, I wanted to kind of evolve what I thought that recipe should be like, and give my version of it. And I think it came out pretty good because I don't put any artificial flavors. I use fresh fruit, fresh peppers. I won't compromise that. I've had, co-packers that I've, talked to. They said they won't do it, or they try to give me a cheaper version of it. But I won't compromise those things that are really important to me, because I don't want to make something that is just here for a couple days and or a couple
Yep.
years and it's gone away. I'm really wanting to do this to, this is something that I'm going to pass to my kids, and my kids are involved in it. So it's a beautiful thing when I can get them involved with it and do it. But it's I think I've circled and I hit a bunch of topics that we can bounce around with. But I did it to kind of pay homage to what I grew up in the food culture back in the DMV. And it's just something that every time I open a bottle or I pour someone some food, it's like a time machine, man. And it takes me back to man, it's a lot of really good times and being around my family and getting bossed around by which I thought was getting bossed around at the time. But my granddad, my dad, my uncles, what they really were doing was teaching me life lessons that I could pass on to my family and my kids, and that's kind of why I did this hood trip because we all work jobs and spend all the time in the world working for other people, which I appreciate. But at some point, if something happens to me, I can't will my job to my kids. So this is
Hmm.
something really to help them kind of learn about some of the lessons that I learned in life and like hard work and working for yourself is tough, but for the right person, you can really do some good things. And I'm looking forward to growing the brand and meeting new people like yourself. It's amazing how networking in this business goes, and you can meet one person or a group of people, and that that can really take what you're doing and your brand to a whole nother level. And I'm getting
Hmm.
long winded, but man, it's been a great ride, and man, there's some really great things that I'm working on that are coming down the line, and it's going to be exciting, man.
No, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. um, like uh, I have both here. So here is the first off here's the logo, which
Yes,
I
sir.
love because you got the H and the D combined in there.
That's pretty dope that you saw that, man. Because I don't think anyone ever really noticed that there's an H and a D in there. But you know
Yep.
what else? So I had it. My original logo was just the shape, right? But that actually is a matte ping.
Oh,
The lips.
really?
Yeah, it's a matte ping. So it's like I'm talking about being proud of where you're from, right? And that's for me, for anybody. But that logo, that's just the H and the D with that shape and the drips. That's actually a matte painting. That it's like first of all, find me, or again, be proud of where you're from, love where you're at. It could be anything, but for me, it means it's where I'm at, where I'm from. I'm proud, and I love all those things. I love the people, I love the places, the sounds, the taste, the smells, all that stuff. It's all in there.
Good. That's cool. That's cool. Now the name. How did you settle on Hood Drip?
Hood drip. Okay. So first of all, hood is a word, right? And a lot of people can judge you, think different of you because of a word, right?
Hmm.
But for me, obviously, it means hood, where you grew up, where you from, the people, the places, things that just things that are familiar is kind of what I believe in, right? But it's just a root word for me for everything that I'm proud of. So I'm proud of being a dad, so fatherhood. Some of the things that I've been through in life, lessons, people, places, my childhood it's really important to me.
Hmm.
I've got kids. I got a beautiful wife. She's sitting there right now laughing at me. But so motherhood, sisterhood, brotherhood, all those words are important. And instead of someone just going directly to what they think it means, which it
Hmm.
absolutely does mean that. It means other things to me, and like I think the biggest one for me is livelihood because I'm not doing this just to have fun. There's other things, but this is something that I want to leave behind for my kids and their kids
Hmm.
to really learn about me. It's something that can live forever if you do it right.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. 100%. Now, growing up, with your grandfather, your father, your uncles, and you were saying,
Hmm.
the food was a very important aspect, was it? Was
Right.
the was it on the barbecue side or just the regular down home style cooking, comfort foods?
It was everything, man. I'm a foodie, right? And so I probably got teased a little bit when I was younger, but I love watching people cook. And so from as for as long as I can remember, my grandparents had a big family. We had, it's five of us, and I always was in the kitchen watching somebody cook. So fast forward, 49 years, I cook like somebody's grandma. I know how to cook. I'm not bragging, but I can cook. And sometimes it's a good thing and sometimes it's a bad thing. But I love cooking. And I just remember from an early age, uh, my granddad, I talk about my granddad a lot and my uncles a lot, my dad a lot, but like they all cook, right? And they're from Virginia, like deep, deep country, South Virginia, and they grew up with, they were cooking what they killed, and
Hmm.
they were hog farmers, and they knew how to cook. And so I always found a way to get a lesson or two without them even knowing I was looking. I would just sit and watch. And like from then to now, I can pretty much mimic any recipe that I saw. Um, the things that I like that I remember, I love soul food, so green jams. I won't do chitlins, but I could do a bunch of other stuff. But like I just
Yeah.
remember the things that I liked, I always watched. And like when I go home, some of the things that I get to make for my family is my grandmother's potato salad, her cherry breeze pie. I can do all that stuff. Uh, Cornbread. I just love food, and my mom is same way. She appreciates the fact that I can take things that they've done and pass that on to my kids, and they'll talk about, man, my dad could really cook this one thing, or and it's an amazing thing. It's not just
Oh,
about the sauce. It's that word and those things really kind of take me back to a lot of things that I remember growing up. So it's a pretty cool thing.
oh, amen, brother. I am so glad you said that, what you said of sitting there watching people in the kitchen.
Hmm.
Because when I started, I always cooked, I always grilled, but really when I started the barbecue end of it, that's really when I really dove into, the culinary part of it.
Yeah.
And people were like, "Where did you learn?" I go, "I'd sit there in the kitchen and I watch my mother."
Hmm.
So when you said that, man, you brought me into that little kitchen sitting at that table at One Veteran Road in Woburn, Massachusetts. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Just sitting there watching her and you know figuring out how the hell she never measured anything.
Oh no. Yeah. She
This
can
was
shake.
this
She's know how
was the
many
measuring
shakes.
hand.
It's. Hmm.
It, it's okay. That's a tablespoon. How do you know? But oh man, once you said that, thank you so much for saying that. That's awesome.
Yeah. I,
That's
I
awesome.
was a
I
I
know
was
the exact feeling.
I was a mixing bowl kid, So whenever she would mix a cake or something, I'm sitting there waiting till she gets done so I could get the things that blend it, and I'm getting my finger and I'm licking it off and eating whatever she's making. So it was amazing.
Oh, I love it. I love it. All right. Let's go a little deeper into the sauces here. So the original was the mango habanero. So you
Yes.
you started playing, you said you had started playing with the fruits, trying
Hmm.
this, trying that. Then how did you land on the habanero? Because first and foremost, guys, if you try this, you know how we always do that word habanero, you always wonder. This is so well balanced, David.
Thank you.
Um, Incredible flavor, doesn't burn your face off. So the typical stereotype habanero pepper doesn't come into play as the stereotype. You used
Mm,
it how you did as an added flavor because the habanero is a very flavorful pepper once you get past the heat part of it. And it doesn't burn you, but at least with my palate, and it'll change with everybody, of course, it gives a little zing or tang at the end to let you know it's there, which is a
Yeah.
great feeling on the palate. And it just works. The flavor is incredible. But so how did you land with the jalapenos? Jesus. I got jalapeno poppers on my mind. My wife wants them for Christmas. So habanero. How did you land with habanero?
I tried a bunch of different types of peppers, and this is with me not knowing about pepper yields and what flavor profiles. I just wanted to get into it and figure out what works best with my sauce combination. And I tried it with, taking all the seeds out, with you name it, I tried it. But I finally landed on the most aggressive way to do it, which is just cut the stem off, clean it, and throw it in the pot and blend it and cook it. And I use less pepper, but by adding the actual seeds into it, it actually helped balance it out. With just the pepper by itself, it gave me a different, more. It was hotter, because I put more pepper in it
Yeah.
to get my yield what I thought was what I needed. So when I took down my pepper amount and actually added the whole pepper and included the seeds in it, it was more balanced versus what my goal is to give you a little bit of heat in the front and have it hit a plateau and just even out versus like some sauces, which is not a bad thing. They escalate and they get hotter and hotter and hotter, and at that point you're missing what we're there for, which is whatever you're eating. So I want to make sure I'm just complimenting whoever's cooking, whatever the meat, whatever the flavor profile is. I just want to be there to complement that and add some different flavors and some different twists to what you're trying to accomplish when you're cooking something. So, the mango was really easy to do. And I knew that going into it because of the consistency of it. And, versus like watermelon, which it took me about 2 years to get that right. Because it's just it's difficult. Like if you puree it, it separates. The question arises, do you use puree? Do you use, you flavor? Do you use juice? And then at the end of the day, the mango was for me the easiest one that I could do. And but the pepper ratio was it. I think I might have cooked maybe 100 small batches of it just to get it right. And then once I got that right, then I wanted to tweak how much mango I put in it. Again, because I don't want to make it just straight mango, because mangoes doesn't really have a big flavor to it. It's more earthy than anything, than floral, like a strawberry or something like that. But mango was easier to get, and it was something that was familiar with everybody. Everybody knows what mango habanero is. This is my version of it, and I like the fact that I'm not burning you up. That's not something that I want to accomplish. I think later down the road we may revisit that, but just to get people comfortable with my brand, I think it's important to have something that's approachable and that doesn't scare them off. So you said something that was really, really caught my eye. You said the stereotype of my brand, which is like the peppers. You see pepper, and I want you to go into it with one expectation, and when you taste it, it really sneaks up on you and surprises you. So when you see that word habanero, it's not really intimidating. It's just, I want you to try it and give you something to talk about.
Oh, absolutely. Because I love spice. I love hot. As you see behind me, I got the Steve's rubs, but this is all hot sauces. From
Hmm.
the different brands where I've gone. I've always collected them. You
Hmm.
know, yeah. This is, all right. As we talk in stereotype of heat, I had this gentleman on, a good friend of mine, Chef Ray Sheehan, last week, and that's his Jersey Heat hot
Hmm.
sauce. extremely flavorful. It's not good, it has a little kick to it, but it's very complimentary to
Right.
whatever you're eating.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as in a typical one, then you can throw that bad boy out there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Everybody knows the bomb, and the bomb's going to
Mm-hmm.
kill you.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to taste whatever you want. So, as far as that goes, the stereotype of the heat, it's
And like for me, I mean, those guys, those are straight chemists right there. They know formulas and ratios better than I do at right now. And I didn't want to do anything that I felt would be disrespectful to trying to make something that just put a bunch of heat in the bottle. It's more to it than that. There are things that you have to contrast, and there's things that you have to do to bring all those flavors together. And hot sauce is just it's man, much respect to those guys, man. It's not as easy as people think it is with just
mhm.
putting some peppers in a bottle and slapping a label on it. There's a science to it, and I mean that, like I said, much respect to those guys because that's it's not as easy as it looks.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you use the word mad scientist because that brings us to your second sauce.
Gotcha. My Fuego melon, yeah, man.
A Fuego melon. Like you said, I started with the original,
Hmm.
the mango habanero, and it blew my mind. So flavorful, so balanced, just a great job on your part of coming up with the flavor profile, the balance, the whole nine. So then I opened this one. What the hell, brother?
Ah, man, that's
Where was your mind when you came up with this? Because this is what I'm saying of there is nothing like this out there. This
mhm.
is the standalone. This is the only one uh flavor profile, taste. This stands on its own. There isn't anything similar. So the Fuego melon, let it roll, brother.
Man, I wanted to find something with the mango habanero that people are familiar with, but with the Fuego melon, you know, it took me a long time to develop that because again, you just can't throw it in a bottle and hope it rides and hope it works. There's so many things that watermelon does that is just it'll give you headaches and have you really putting some thought into it, which is what I felt like I did. So it took about 2 years to develop it, but I wanted to find something that wasn't out there, something that people aren't familiar with, but are familiar with. When they see it, it's like, oh, I can tell them about the mango habanero, but if I say I've got a spicy watermelon, they really get interested because it's not something that you see a lot of.
Yeah.
Um, so I wanted to keep a similar flavor profile as far as what the base of the sauce is with the mango habanero, but I wanted to give a twist with something that's really different. Again, I didn't want to make a barbecue sauce. I wanted to make something that you can just kind of go crazy with and try it on everything, from fruit to the bread. You just raw vegetables. You can definitely do that. It's funny because as I started to talk about this, people would look at me like, "Yeah, that's not going to happen," because it's just not something that they're familiar with or something that they see.
Hmm.
So again, through my process of developing that, I would talk about it and say, "Hey, man, I think I've got something with this watermelon thing." And as I was developing it, I got with my graphics guy, Jay McKeever, shout out at McKeever Designs. He just kind of told me, "Man, that sounds like a great idea, but I can't see it in my head what that looks like, what that smells like, what that tastes like." So that really caused me to really make sure when I do put it out there that I give a good representation of it because in the beginning I was worried that someone else was going to beat me to it, but man, I haven't seen it, and I'm sure there's some. I know there's some hot sauces that have watermelon, but like as far as just like a sauce, I mean that I'm really proud of that one because I think you can't go, I know you can't go to a grocery store and find something like that.
No, no. And when you were saying with the graphics on it,
Hmm.
not for nothing. Okay, the orange, but the rest of the bottom, that's a piece of watermelon, brother.
That's
Those
a
are
slice of watermelon.
watermelon seeds. It's a slice of watermelon.
Hmm.
So the graphic is genius,
Thank you.
but the
What have you had it on?
I've had a chicken. I had it on some pulled pork,
Oh yeah.
and like you said, I've had it with some celery sticks. It's celery. It's like
I,
eating water.
I highly
I need some
recommend
flavor.
I highly recommend some boardwalk fries. So any kind of like steak fry with some malt vinegar and some sea salt on it, and
Okay.
it'll change the way you you look at it. So, or I haven't tried it yet, but I've got it in my brain that I think this will work really good with some beef tallow fries.
Oh, there you go.
Hmm.
There you go.
Hmm.
And actually, now that you say it, I'm actually making a little later on today. I'm gonna whip up a batch of sweet potato fries.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So in my air fryer, so I'll
Hmm.
give that a shot for sure.
Yeah,
But
that'll be good. That'll be good.
working with the watermelon,
Hmm.
I know you were saying earlier, working with the different fruits can be very difficult.
Right.
How hard was it to work with watermelon? Because we all know watermelon and the structure of the melon itself is extremely light.
Right.
It's not a thickness you're getting out of like a mango.
Correct.
So what was the difficulty and any other headaches you
The,
came about working with the watermelon?
the biggest one was separation in the bottom. So I would make some, and then I would do like verticals of it where I label them. And this one, in my notes, I would write what I did, and then I would number it, put it in the fridge, and just kind of see how it does. Then I would also make it, set it out in the cupboard, and just leave it, and then I'd go back to it 3 months, 6 months. And eventually got to a year, and I just kept seeing it separate, and it was just I remember going to the grocery store and like looking at sauces. I do that a lot, and I always look for bottles that separate. Which there's nothing wrong with that because there's a lot of oil-based sauces that have you can see the different layers of it,
Mhm.
the oil, the base, and whatever liquid is in there. But with this, I didn't want that because I just didn't. I don't feel like you need to shake it up completely to get it out because it's eventually going to separate again, and it gives it a like a off taste, off flavor. So I had to really mess with the ratio, and I had to be able to use any watermelon because watermelon it'll taste different. No matter
Mhm.
where you get it from, if you get it from North Carolina versus Texas, it's going to taste completely different. If you get it from, New Hampshire or wherever they're growing it at, they're always going to be different.
Oh
So
yeah.
I had to make that taste the same regardless of where the watermelon came from, and the clumping was a big problem because it would clump up real bad, but like to where it is right now, I've got a real consistent, if you pour, um, a sample of the Fuego melon and you pour a sample of the mango habanero, the consistency is almost identical. And that's without putting any additional emulsifiers or like
Mhm.
xanthan gum. I didn't want to do any of that. So for it to come together like that, man, it came out really good in my opinion.
Oh yeah, and both sauces, like you said, the consistency of them. It's not a thick sauce. It's not a
Hmm.
light sauce. It's right there in that middle, and you have best I can put it is there's a clarity to it.
Mm.
So almost like a glaze
Yeah.
type of a sauce
It,
also.
it,
So you have it both combined.
hmm I wanted to make something again that you can use it for pretty much anything. Whether you're cooking, whether you're glazing something or you're dipping it. It is almost, it's not translucent, but it's not like take Big Wicks for example, man. He like I didn't want to make glaze, but like I wish I would have because that he's selling that stuff like it's on fire, and it's just a different type of sauce. But
Yeah.
like a glaze is one thing, a sauce is one thing, a marinade is another, right? So that keeping that in mind, I wanted to make all three, and I think I've got it pretty close where you can use it for those are just I'm finding new stuff. I get people that send me videos of what they used it on, and it's amazing. It's amazing to see.
Oh yeah, that that was something we got. Oh, I who the hell was I talking to? It was on the show. We were talking. Oh, my friend Alan Fonte from Magna Chef makes
Mm-hmm.
the heat gloves,
Mm-hmm.
and he had just came out with a cutting board that he released down at the American Royal,
Mm-hmm.
and we were talking. It's you have your visions of it, of the usage, but then you put it in someone else's hands
Oh, they go crazy with it.
and someone else's vision, and you hear it and go, I never even thought of that, or
Mm-hmm.
that's where the magic really happens. Because um, it's research and development organically at its finest.
Yes.
Just how someone's vision is towards, your product. Oh, I would never have thought of using it like that. And it just blows your mind, but it works and
That,
it's wonderful. It's
that
truly a blessing.
that's why you develop products to, you don't want to make a narrow product that's only good for one thing.
Yeah.
But when you start really like, one I've heard that I might try this week is ice cream. Somebody said, man, you can put this on ice cream. It'll probably be pretty good. But I can't see it. But like,
Uh-huh.
hey, a creative person can take something that you don't see and find some beauty in it and really take it to a whole nother dimension. So that's the thing that I really enjoy is the feedback from, first friends and family, but the people that I don't know that tell me, what they think. It's like when I sent you that package, I really didn't want to give you any information. I just wanted to send it to you and
Hmm.
see what you thought, because that is the truest way of finding out things that you don't know. So if I'm giving you, a prep saying, hey, this is what it goes on, this is what you do with it, then you're already automatically gonna, narrow what you think you could do. But if you just start just doing what you would normally do, um, man, it's a beautiful thing to see. Um, so when I'm developing new products, that's kind of what my thought process is, and um, the direction that I'm taking is to create things that have multiple applications, and they're really like make people curious to find out what else they can do with it.
Oh, absolutely. And you made me curious when we were talking the other day on the phone. First off, the first thing I said to you, other than "What's up, David," was these sauces are fucking tremendous. Quote unquote, word for
That's
word.
a direct quote. That's a direct quote.
You had said, you had a handful of ideas or some in the works.
Hmm.
You know, are you not to spill the beans, but
Oh no, it's
what kind of ideas are you working on now? Is it strictly sauces or
no. There's other things that I've got that I'm developing right now. Working on some partnerships with some different people, but I think the biggest thing is like I've only got two sauces that I've packaged, right? I've probably got 10 to 15 recipes that I've done that I know are going to work. But it's really important to me that I'm putting out sauces that people can can gravitate towards, but I don't want to
Mhm.
put out a bunch right now because I'm just having the not difficulty. I'm doing it at my own pace, but I want to make sure people can identify my brand first and foremost. And if I'm putting out a bunch of stuff and I'm not identifiable or I don't stand out, then I'm not doing something that's going to, translate into long-term stability. And, I'm not just doing this for a hobby. I want to be someone that you say hood drip, you know exactly what it is and
Mhm.
what you're going to get. Um, so again, I've made some connections, but I think it's one of those things where it takes one person to find your brand, to really do things that you didn't expect, and that's the kind of brand that I want to be. I don't want to be someone that's just you know will do anything to to make a buck.
Mhm.
That the brand means something to me. And I've got, like I said, I've got things that I'm working on. There's clothing, there's hats. Um, I design my own hat. I design my own clothing based off of that, and that's a big thing that's coming. I definitely have some seasonings coming here pretty soon. But again, the same concept. I don't want to come out with a bunch
Yeah.
because I feel like there's so many companies and so many people that have spent years and years and years developing their brand. Just because I see someone with 20 sauces or 20 seasonings, I'm I'm being I'm paying my respect by making sure I establish and I really work on my craft before I come out with something like that. So
Mhm.
definitely excited. But some of the things that I'm doing, so like with Hood Drip, some of the things with the two sauces that you have, I don't impart anybody's pre-made recipe into my sauce. So that being said, at some point I'd love to get into my own ketchup or mayonnaise or mustard, my own line of condiments that I develop, and I really, and then you'll start seeing some variations from that. Like you'll see a mustard based barbecue sauce or a sauce or my own. You'll see a hood drip ketchup. You'll see mustard. You'll see condiments like relish and you know cha-cha, stuff like that. From shout out to Louisiana for that cha-cha
Oh,
reference. But
yes.
uh, but then I also want to take people on a tour, right? Because if you look at like there's so many different styles of just the barbecue sauce. There's Memphis, there's Kansas City, there's Texas style, and like that really means a lot to me to
Mhm.
not just go out there and just throw something in a bottle. Is to do the work, do the research, go meet some people, go talk to some people, go taste some things, and really give a true representation of what I feel like those are. That's why I never labeled Hood Drip as a barbecue sauce because it really isn't, but you could absolutely use it as a barbecue sauce.
Yep.
So you'll start to see some stuff like the one thing that I really want to do is my peri peri recipe. You'll see that here pretty soon.
Ooh.
And I've got that ready to go. But again, I'm not there.
Mhm.
So you'll see that later down the time. Now I mentioned that I was from Maryland, right? What is Maryland famous for?
Blue crab, brother.
Blue crabs, and I am not Team Boyle. I'm Team Steam, one
Okay.
thousand percent. But hey, shout out to those guys that do boil. I think it's tasty and flavorful. But I grew up with brick at the bottom of the pot with some vinegar and some Budweiser and a little bit of water and some lemon and some Old Bay or JO seasoning. So,
Mhm.
um, much respect to the boil, but hey, it'll never beat Team Steam in my eyes. So some seasonings and some cocktail sauce that you can dip crabs in. And
Oh,
that is something
nice.
that I can share with anybody. That I've already got ready, but that's not. I'm not there yet. So it's
Oh,
a true.
that's
It's a true. Be proud of where you're from, and
yeah.
to be able to share some of the elements of where you're from. I want to do that for myself, but I also want to pick people's brains for some things that they're proud of. This brand has allowed me to have a plethora of conversations with people, and we always end up talking about. I haven't asked you yet, but I'm going to. But it always circles back to you telling me stories about you watching your mom cook in the kitchen, or where you grew up that I wouldn't have not have normally been able to just walk up to someone and say, "Tell me about where you're from."
Hmm.
Um, Anyone that knows me or has been around me for an extended period of time, I always talk about where I'm from. Not to be disrespectful from where I'm at, because I've been in Texas for about 18 years and I love it. When I was in Louisiana, I love it. The other day I got to go watch my alma mater play a basketball game, and the coach asked me to come and speak to the team at halftime. And I melt when I hear stuff like that,
Oh,
because
that's awesome.
man, that's a big part of who I am and where I am right now, is those little teeny things. So, I what's coming down is always going to be an extension of those same stories that I told you about, where I'm from, who I've crossed paths with, like sports that I played, or like it could be even like on a fishing trip, it could be anything, So I'm really excited to be able to talk about that.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And I absolutely love the plan of the condiment line, because that you don't see. You know, there might be some, that like you said, you always look in the sauce aisle, and that's exactly what I do, to see if there's something that catches my eye, and the ketchups, you got the Heinz, obviously. You got in Texas, you'll probably have an HEB
Oh yeah, just
brand
got one in
ketchup,
Mansfield. Hmm.
or, that type of thing. But then you have the kind of little ones, what is it? The sauce, hot sauce, Melinda's.
Oh yeah,
They
Melinda's
have
is
a
local.
line of ketchups out now, and that are very good. But I love the fact of that's where your mind's at, of the
Mhm.
condiment side, and then incorporating them into the next, like you said, a mustard line, and then into a mustard sauce.
Yeah, if I'm
You
wanting to
know,
make a mustard sauce, or something that I have to use, like a mustard based product, I want to do the work and develop a mustard first. It's a self sufficient way of doing things, and it's also the biggest way to give respect to a craft that you're doing, is to really dive into each aspect of it, and learn what you're doing, and learn the history of it, and learn why it's important to use certain types of ingredients. Um, Again, I don't want to do it for a temporary point of time and sell it to the highest bidder. This is something that I want to develop, that I could, leave that legacy to my kids, and they could, pass that on. That's generational. And that's what I intend to do with it.
nice, nice. I love it. I love it. Now, the sauces are available at hooddripsauce.com,
Yes.
and you can, single bottles, double bottles, combo packs,
Hmm.
and then, one of each. Then you have a package, two of each, two of each for, I think it was about $37. That's
Yeah.
a
So
hell
you
of
can
a
get two
price,
of each
brother.
for 36.99. One is 10.99. Two are 19.99. So I just want to offer some value. We ship within a day and arrive in 3 to 5 business days. There's a fee for shipping, but that's just to kind of help us with being a small
Hmm.
business. I want to be able to offer some more down the road, but for right now, it's really helping us get the word out, and orders are really getting better and growing. This last couple of weeks, since we've really been when we introduced Fuego
Yeah.
Melon. But I just want to, again, I never really put a bunch of stuff out there, because I wanted to make sure I can be able to support it. And we've gotten to that point now. We've got a good surplus of inventory. And so now I feel comfortable kind of where we're at. But I'm super excited about where it's going, because it's been a fun ride the last couple of weeks with Fuego Melon. And as we introduce more products, putting systems in place to be able to make things efficient and make the customer experience one that you'll want to tell people about. And if there is a problem, we want to be able to service that problem, and I think we've gotten to that point now where we feel comfortable knowing that we can take care of anything that pops up.
Beautiful, beautiful. So everything's available on the website, but in the in your area, in the Texas area, are you located in the different shops, or hitting
Well,
the
we're
ground
working
running?
on. We've gotten into 3 stores in the last 2 weeks. We've got Joe's Meat Market. We got into Papa Joe's Pro Shop, and then
Hmm.
yesterday we got into Torres Meat House.
Yep, I
Uh,
saw
I've
that. Yeah.
I've got about 6 other ones that I'm working on currently. Some Ace Hardwares that a little bit, it could be a little bit difficult, but once you get into one and get in their system,
Hmm.
it's good. So I really want to set small goals, and like again we'll be able to service whatever we pick up here locally, and that's all me and my wife and my kids. We're all gonna be working together and doing it, and as we grow, we can be looking to bring in some employees and really get the brand going.
Love it, brother. Love it. So, guys, if you're in the area, like you said, Torres Meat Market, Joe's Meat Market, Papa Joe's, available there. You can get them there. Anybody else, hit that website. I'm telling you, they're worth it. You're going to love them. I'll guarantee it. If you don't, I'll pay for your order.
That's
I'll
awesome, man.
guarantee these are fantastic. There's nothing like them out on the market, especially the Fuego melon. It is a standalone. There is nothing like it, and you're gonna love it. I'll guarantee it. Now, David,
Yeah.
thank you, brother. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. Where can everybody find you to follow you on all the social media platforms?
So at Facebook, it's the Hood Drip Sauce. On Instagram, it's at the Hood Drip Sauce. And on TikTok, it's Dr. Hood Drip, or you can just type in Hood Drip Sauce. It'll pop right up.
Pop up.
Hmm.
Beautiful, brother. Beautiful. But like I said, I thank you for your time.
Oh man,
You got
appreciate you for
two.
having me, man.
Oh, my pleasure. You got two winners here, brother. Like I said, fucking tremendous.
Oh man, direct
you
quote.
know,
That's amazing, man. I
that's a
appreciate that.
direct quote. but but yeah, thank you for your time, brother. Thank you for the sauces. Thank you for being
Anytime,
you.
anytime.
Thank you for representing. Where you come from. Thank you for
Absolutely.
thank you for mentioning. You were a kitchen watcher just like myself,
Yes, sir.
and
Yes, sir.
just appreciate you, brother. Happy holidays, safe, and we will catch up, brother.
Johnny, I appreciate you, man, and this has been amazing, man. I never I didn't expect you to do that. I just wanted you to give me your opinion on sauce and my sauce, and I really appreciate you taking the time and like really like putting some thought into it, and like for someone like you to tell me that what you think about my sauce is amazing, man. So I appreciate that. And I'm thankful for the opportunity to come on here and talk to you and your audience today.
My pleasure, brother, and we'll definitely do it again whenever you got new stuff coming out. Whenever you
Yes,
want to
sir.
announce something, you just hit me up, brother. You got my number.
Yes, sir. Yes,
You
sir.
you, you got the number. You're a brother now, so any
Oh,
time of day, brother, anytime. But
got you, Johnny.
hang in 1 second. We'll close this out, then we'll jump back.
Okay.
But guys, that's it for this week. Thank you all for tuning in. Like I said, hooddripsauce.com. Get your order. You're gonna love them. They're tremendous. I'll guarantee it. And like you said, knocked my socks off. Especially the Fuego melon. Nothing. I've never had anything like it before.
That's
Um,
awesome, man.
but that's it. There's still 2 weeks to Christmas, guys. Get your
Perfect
orders
Christmas gift.
in. Perfect gift.
Perfect, perfect
Stocking
Christmas gift.
stuffer.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. But thank you all for tuning in. Catch the video, Facebook, YouTube. Catch the audio, all the podcast platforms, iTunes, uh, Spotify, all those. if you can catch an audio podcast, we're there. Any questions, please send them to pitlifebbqpodcast@gmail.com. And like always, guys, like, subscribe, rate, review, hit that share button, help us grow this. We've come a long way in 6 years, folks, and I thank you all. Still waiting on a confirmation for next week, but just keep your heads out on the social medias, and we'll see what's going on. But until next week, keep the smoke rolling.